Hey guys, so if you've clicked on this video, it's because you're interested in the stock market. So what we're going to do is cover off the stock market for beginners. We're going to give you a really good introduction as to what it is, how you can make money from it, and things that you may need to consider moving forward if you're deciding that you want to start investing in stocks. Now, first and foremost, we should probably cover off what is a stock. So a stock essentially is when you are able to become a part owner of a company. Now, if you simply go onto Google and you were to type in Facebook stock, this would come up on your screen. So the current price of one share is $364.38 American. So if you were to purchase this, you would then own one share in the company, meaning you are a part owner in the company of Facebook. Now, if you were to then purchase two shares, you would then have to spend a total of $728.76. So as you can see, each individual share is going to cost you that $364. Now, the price of the shares will vary up and down depending on the time of the year, if there's any news that's come out, if there's any upcoming events, speculation, and things of that nature. But overall, you're trying to purchase the price lower than when you decide to sell it, because you ideally want to sell it for a profit. I'm in Australia. If I was to purchase an American company share, so for example, if I was to purchase Facebook or Apple, I would have to open an American trading account to do so. However, there are some stocks or ETFs that you can purchase, which will track something like the S&P 500, which will allow you to invest into the American market or even say the Asian market without you having to directly transfer money into their currency, open up a trading platform in their area. Then that would enable you to then trade in their country. So now you know what a share is. Where do you go now to purchase a share? Now, depending on where you're from, there are going to be platforms that you can use. If you're in the States or in Canada, there is a popular platform called Robinhood, which is accessible to most people. And if you're in Australia, you can either go through your local bank or you can use an application called Self-Wealth, which is what I personally use myself. And through these platforms, these will enable you to purchase those shares of the companies that you would like to invest into. I'm not going to show you how to use a trading platform. Please look up what trading platform you would like to use and then look up the correct tutorial on that platform itself. I will leave a link below in the description to those common trading platforms in your area. So now you've gotten a trading platform, how do you actually make money in the stock market? Now, there are three main ways that people would trade. Number one is day trading, whereby you would purchase stocks in the AM as soon as the stock market opens. You could then sell it either at minutes, hours, or at the end of the day, in the hopes that the time that you purchase the stock, you're then going to exit and sell that stock for a profit. Now, for most beginners, I highly recommend that you don't go down this path because it can be very risky, especially if you're very new to this. And even myself, who has been doing this for quite a while, I don't day trade. But as an example, if you were to purchase a stock for $50 in the morning and then it sold for $60 in the evening, you would then made yourself a $10 profit. The next way that we'll make money in the stock market is with swing trading. So what people will do is they'll purchase a position, say $500, $1,000, $10,000 worth of a company. Then months or weeks later, they would then sell that for a profit based on their speculation or the thought process that they think that the company will increase in price in the next coming weeks. And then third is my personal favorite, which is basically just the buy and hold for the long term. This is where you purchase a company that you think will be worth much more money going forward into the future, the next 5 years, 10, 15, 20 years. And then when you decide to sell that stock, you plan on hopefully leaving the market with more money than when you started. So why is it that you should invest into the stock market? So if you have any amount of savings in the bank is probably giving you a very minimal amount return on having that money just sitting in an account. For most people, it might be 0.5. If you're lucky, it may even be 1% of the total amount. So when you put your money into the stock market, if you were to just take the average of say the S&P 500 over the last 90 years, your average return is going to be about 7 to 8%. And furthermore, if you were to look at the Australian All Ordinaries Index over the last 100 years, the average return has been 11.8% per year. Now, the other main reason that you want to also invest into the stock market is you want to outpace inflation. So if you don't know what inflation is, it's a decrease in purchasing power of a given currency over time, which basically means $5 today isn't going to buy the same thing in 10 to 15 years time. It won't be worth the same amount. For an example, let's take a look at how inflation has changed the price of a cup of coffee over time. So in 1970, for example, a cup of coffee may have cost you 25 cents. Now, if you take that all the way up to say 2019, an average cup of coffee may cost you about $1.59. So if you were in 1970 and you didn't invest any of your money and you just left it in the bank, that same 25 cents would not buy you the same coffee in the future in 2019. Now, yes, coffee is a very small example, but this goes across the board with all goods. Now, on average, inflation usually increases at the rate of about 2% per year. So even if you were lucky just to get 2% return on your money sitting in the bank, just doing absolutely nothing, that is barely enough to outpace inflation. Not only do we want to outpace inflation, we also want to make money on top of this. So now that you've decided that you do want to purchase some stocks, how much should you invest? Now, I would always recommend that invest as much as you're willing to lose. But having said that, if you are investing, the minimum amount I would recommend is no less than $1,000, because there will be transaction fees every time that you purchase, and you want to try and keep those to a bare minimum as possible. But if you only have $500 or $700 to start with, and the share that you've chosen is that amount or less, then definitely go ahead and start investing. Now, there is a lot more information out there that goes into much more depth that I can cover off in just this one video. So I'm gonna leave down in the links. And having said that, I appreciate that you've watched this video. Hope you've learned a little bit, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.